I'm Dr. Cindy Davis Evans with the Cindy Davis Show. My guest today was born into a legacy, but lived like a stranger to it. Melvin Franklin Jr., son of Temptations bass vocalist Melvin Franklin, shares his incredible journey of survival, abandonment, and the search for identity. From his early years in a group home to his emotional reunion with his father, this episode of the Cindy Davis Show is a beautiful, heartfelt journey of healing and hope and a testament of God's grace. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, Melvin. It's such a pleasure to have you on the Cindy Davis Show. I like that T-shirt. That shirt is representing your father.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, this is one of my favorite photos of my father.
Melvin Franklin of the Temptations, the famous bass singer for the Temptations.
And co-founder.
And co-founder. Absolutely, absolutely. Take us back to your childhood. You spent some time in a group home, and was that a foster care or was it just labeled as a group home?
So a a foster home and a group home, there is a distinct difference.
Okay.
Foster homes have normally foster parents. So there is a set pair of authority figures that operate there in the home primarily as a parental unit would. In a group home, it's more so rotating staff members that come in on different shifts. So it's more institutionalized in that aspect. It's normally a higher population than foster home. So that is the distinct difference between the two. While I was in a foster home, one very briefly, I was quickly placed in the group home system and never had the opportunity, I guess, to elevate back up to foster care.
Oh, okay. How did you end up there in the group home?
Well, I was with my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. I was living with my maternal grandmother, and it got to a point where a combination of me being, how shall I put it, hard-headed, right? And her being too advanced in age to deal with my foolishness.
I see.
And so what eventually wound up happening was my mother was incarcerated. And so I was able to stay with her mother, and my misguided thought process, plus, the trauma or whatever I was dealing with as a child, but it became too much for her to bear. I don't blame her. She did what she felt was necessary. I was not her responsibility. So I don't blame her for that. I blame myself, because if I was,
Yeah.
if I wasn't so strong-willed as a child, then she wouldn't have been forced to make the decision she had to make. So
Yeah. No judgment. How old were you?
When I first entered the system,
Yeah.
I was 11.
Oh, you was 11. Okay. So, your father, where was your father at this time?
More than likely out on tour.
Yeah.
I I I don't believe that my father was aware of what my circumstance was. Because the last time he had seen me, the last time we had made contact with one another, I was still with my grandmother, we all as grandchildren affectionately refer to her as Nana, right? So that's my Nana. Uh,
Yeah.
the public at large knows my father's mother, my paternal grandmother, Mama Rose, right?
Mhm.
But when I'm referring to my grandmother, I'm talking specifically of my Nana in this particular instance. Um, the last time I saw my father, I was still with my Nana.
Oh, okay. So you always had a relationship with your father from birth?
No, no,
Oh, okay.
no, I didn't always have a relationship with him, unfortunately. But uh, I'm not his only child, and none of us really had that opportunity. He was called to a higher purpose. You know,
Mhm.
it the world kind of needed him more than the rest of us, right? Because through what he was able to accomplish, you know, um, there are lifelong memories that are created in the lives of millions of people across the globe that never would have happened
Yeah.
had he chosen a different path, you know,
Oh, wow. Yes, he definitely left you a legacy. Uh,
100%.
yes, yes, he, certainly did, in one that you could, actually follow. I think this is, something great really came out of this. So what was it like being in the group home?
Exactly. You want to know
Well, what did they teach you? Did
what
you
did they teach me?
Yeah, did you go to school?
Well, yeah,
Like
we went to,
homeschool, or did they send
no, it
you?
was regular public school.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
we, they're the main difference I would say is like, it's like any other American household,
Mhm.
except there is no real authority per se.
Mhm.
Um, the the children, as the saying goes, the inmates run the asylum,
Mm.
right? But
Mhm.
there are consequences for certain actions that are enforced by staff. But for the most part,
Yeah.
the staff are just there to do a job and go home and live their lives. Meanwhile, the children that are there, this is their life.
Yes.
And so you learn to adapt
Mhm.
very early in the process. Um,
Yeah.
it's very much a only the strong survive sort of. It it prepares you quite thoroughly for jail.
Oh.
It's
Wow.
it's it's kind of like a boot camp, a training facility for the prison pipeline.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So, moving forward, your life was a little bit different because, you being the son of Melvin Franklin, behind the scenes, no one would ever think that you were in one of those group homes, but it happens all the time, you know. And so when were you able to reconnect with your father?
Um, well, there were times, sporadically throughout childhood when I was able to see him. Um, I spent a couple of weekends down at his condo. Um, but he traveled so much. The Temps still to this day do, 100 dates a year. Like still to this day, it's 60 some odd years later, right? So, uh, there's only 365 days in the year. And you're talking 100 performance dates. This doesn't include travel. This doesn't include so again, hindsight being 2020, you kind of understand the demand that was placed on him because of his chosen career path. So it wasn't really available like that to anybody.
Uh-huh.
It was God, the Temps, and his mama, and then everything else fit in after that. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you know that that your father was such a famous figure at that time? Like, you were younger, say you were 6, 7, 8, 9. Did you know how that you had a famous father?
Not not to the extent of I knew that my father was an entertainer.
Mm.
I knew that my father was on television,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but I
That
didn't
was a big
know.
deal for a child. You
Right.
watch your father on television. That had to be a big deal. What was that like for you?
Well, I think everyone else made it a bigger deal than I did,
Mhm.
uh, because for me, it was still at that age, it was still kind of looking at a stranger. Like the knowledge is there. I know you're my father.
Yeah.
I don't know you as my father.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm trying to make that connection. Meanwhile, I understand the importance of it because all of the adults around me are responding. And it's like, look at your daddy. That's your daddy. Well, and they're all
Uh-huh.
having the enthusiasm for me. So I understand the importance, or I understood the importance of it, but I did not know, you know, how popular he was until
Until
I got older.
Yeah, yeah. So you were named after him and everything. You're also known as Blue.
Yes, ma'am.
And where did that come from? Is that
Well, from him,
that
obviously,
from him?
right? Right.
Do you know that story?
He's no, I do not. Um, I know David Jr., David Ruffin Jr. Uh, he was the first one that I can remember,
Mhm.
uh, that consistently, continually referred to me as Blue, and it just kind of stuck.
Oh, okay. Well, you certainly have his bass voice. I bet you hear that all the time, huh?
Yes, ma'am, I do, but nobody has that man's voice. Is that was definitely one of a kind.
Yeah.
I do my best, but I'm no him. I'm no Melvin Franklin, thus the junior. Like to let it know, like you know what I'm saying?
You've done some all kinds of rap as well, hip hop and that kind of stuff too.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
How did you get involved with that career?
Well, I actually started writing quite young. Uh, My very first rap lyric I ever wrote, I was 9 years old. I was very heavily influenced, by the music at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just had a natural knack for it. I naturally gravitated towards hip hop music, and
Yeah.
having such an isolated childhood, I wrote a lot, and it got to the point where it it became easy for me. And in one of the group homes that I was in, one of the other boys overheard me reciting what I had written. And that's how word kind of got out that, I was able to do it, because, more and more people started requesting to hear me. And then that's when I found out that I was actually pretty good at it.
So, but now you are following in your father's footsteps. Did you ever see that coming?
Never in a million years. Well, I said I went the opposite direction of Motown.
Yeah.
you know, uh,
Yeah. How did you get reconnected with how did you get connected with the Temptations? Because now you're doing tours with them with the Temptations Glenn Leonard review.
yeah, Glenn Leonard's Temptations Revue.
Okay.
Yes, is who, right? Not the Temptations. That's Otis. He owns that, and we respect that. This is Glenn Leonard's Temptations Revue. So he is the only surviving former lead singer of the Temps.
Yeah.
And I am, blessed and fortunate to be able to sing with his group. Uh,
How did that happen? How did that come about?
well, they needed a bass, and I happened to be available. Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
Glenn Leonard Jr. and I are very, very close. He's like a big brother to me,
Mhm.
and uh, unbeknownst to me, there were conversations going on behind the scenes between him and his father pertaining to me, because you never know how God is working in your life.
Say that again.
You as long as you continue to believe the vision,
Mhm.
and continue to work towards it. Like he has designed, it's my belief, he has designed the universe to operate on your behalf. And like I said, completely unbeknownst to me, these conversations are taking place. And I happen to get a phone call uh, about an upcoming tour over in the Netherlands. And, uh, you know, Glenn Sr., he asks me, he says, okay, we have about a month and a half. Do you think you can learn everything you need to know in that amount of time? And, of course I said yes.
What did you have to learn? I know all those steps, but there are songs that you had to learn. Did you already know some of the songs?
Uh, well, yeah, the song, the music, itself, yes, I'm very familiar with the music.
Mhm.
What I was unfamiliar with were the routines
Yeah.
in performing the music live. That's what I had to become accustomed to, because again, that's something that I had only done uh prior to that, only a handful of times with the other sons. 'Cause we have an endeavor that we have been working on trying to bring to fruition for close to 20 years now. But
Mhm.
we we have a collective of sons, and we have been trying to uh get together to re-record our father's music. And that's the only other time that I've performed this, but never to this degree.
Yeah.
So it was a lot more involved this time around, singing with Glenn, because you're talking a full 90-minute show.
Yeah.
You're talking, all of the classics. You're talking crowd interaction. You're talking overseas, in markets that I've never been exposed to before.
Wow.
So it's definitely a huge difference.
Yeah, I bet that was a challenge though, right? Learning all those steps, because they'd be like moving there.
Many, 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 many hours
Yeah.
of constant rehearsal of watching film,
Mm-hmm.
you know, working with instructors, and they're like trying to just many, many, many hours put
Yeah.
in, and still nowhere near the level of crispness and almost perfectionism that the
Yeah.
classic Temps were known for.
Yeah.
Because I'm not just learning a routine. At least my approach, I'm not just learning a routine. I'm following in my father's footsteps, and I know the amount of work, the time commitment that he put into his craft. So it's only right that I do my best to do the same.
Wow. That is certainly amazing. You're the youngest in that group right now, correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm the baby, which I have not been in quite some time. So
Did you see the Temptation movie? I understand that you're trying to gather as much information about your father, about his past, and stuff like that. What did you think about the Temptations movie that was made in the 90s?
okay. So to be fair,
Uh-huh.
I literally just watched it like maybe 2-3 months ago. Like the whole thing all the way through. I had seen clips of it here and there. Uh, but I had never sat and watched like both parts of the miniseries back to back. And I just did it like, a few months back
Wow.
for the first time. And I mean, it's interesting,
Mm-hmm.
but unfortunately, maybe if I watch it again, I'll be able to watch it more objectively. But
Uh-huh.
I just, I really don't like the way they portrayed my father. And, like I would like to believe, just because I know me and I know I came from him.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to believe that he had a little more backbone than how his character was portrayed in the movie. But that's just my own personal beef. So it was difficult for me to look around that and remain objective about the whole project. So
Uh-huh.
maybe I'll have to watch it again. But I was just overwhelmed by, the way my father was portrayed as weak. And that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
What do you let's see. How would you have done it differently in some of those scenes?
Well, again, I can't speak to that because unfortunately I did not know the man.
Yeah.
Right. And I wasn't there for production so I don't know. From what I understand, the story was derived from the book. So because I wasn't there, I wasn't privy to the happenings in real time. I can't give an opinion on that, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But I just feel, again, knowing myself and putting myself in his shoes in certain circumstances and situations that are displayed in the film,
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling a completely different response than the ones that are given. And maybe that's just my own personal biases, but I would like to believe that my father wasn't just a go along to get along type of person. I know he had a good heart. I know he had a good spirit,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't believe he was weak.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't be weak to be in a wheelchair and get wheeled up to the curtain behind the stage and hop up and do a 90-minute dance routine, and nobody knows that you were just in a wheelchair 5 minutes before. And then once the performance is done, not be able to walk for 2 days, but saving all your energy to get right back up onto the stage. That type of mentality cannot be weak. You can't be weak and execute at that level. So
Yeah.
again, that part of it baffles me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of lost as far as following the entire story, because as you said, I'm trying to learn. I'm watching these things trying to learn. And so I'm seeing the way that my father is being portrayed, and I'm wondering if that's how he's seen through others' lens, you know? So I don't know. I don't know, but that's what I disagree with
I see.
in the film.
What was your first like real conversation with your father after you reconnected with him? Do you remember? Was it anything that really sticks out?
You know, I don't. What sticks out is indirectly. What sticks out is Ali Woodson.
Mm-hmm.
I had a chance to go on tour with my father right before I entered into the group home system, right before I left my grandmother's house. And it was only I was only with him for 3 cities. We were in Atlanta, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. But I had a chance to ride on the tour bus with him and stay at the hotels and be backstage and order room service and all this good stuff, right? As a child. Remember,
Yeah,
I'm like 11 years old.
wow.
And remember Ali, he would always come check on me, come like ruffle my hair. Like, what's up, champ? You good? And that just kind of, that stuck with me, that touched me, because again, he didn't know me. I'm there. I'm my father's child, but as far as the rest of the group would be concerned, like, I'm just extra baggage. You know what I'm saying? I'm an extra responsibility. These are men out here living the road life. So I'm in the way, but Ali never made me feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell everyone else was kind of just
kind of like pushing you aside,
no, I wouldn't say that. No, at all. Not pushing me aside, but kind of just the perfunctory, hey, how's it going? Whenever they see you, saying, hey, what's going on? Everything okay? But Ali would make it a point to come stop by the room Ali would come stop by my table when I'm eating. Like, he went out of his way, it felt like, you know,
Yeah.
to check on me. And that stuck with me.
Who was Ali?
Ali Woodson, he was lead singer on Treat Her Like a Lady.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right.
Wow.
So that was that experience really stuck out with me, you know. But as far as having serious conversation, I mean, I was a kid, you know, so there wasn't really any serious conversations to be had at that point. I was just happy to be out of the house traveling with my dad, you know.
Yeah, eat ice cream and just hanging out.
Right,
You know?
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And so right after you were back at the Gook home after your tour with your father, how long had it been? When did he pass away? What's the time frame? A month, 2 months?
Well, no, he passed away a few years after that.
Or a couple of years after that?
Yeah, once when I went on tour with him, like I said, this was before I was still with my grandmother, and then like maybe 6 months or so later is when I entered into the system.
Oh, okay.
So again, this is why it is my belief that he really had no knowledge, because the last he had seen of me, I was good, you know. Of course, he didn't know what was going on behind the scenes at my nana's house, and he didn't ask, you know. But again, he's busy entertaining the world. So he passed in 95.
How old were you?
So I'm gonna you'll make me age myself, huh?
You know, the people want to know.
Yeah. I was in middle school when he died.
You was in middle school. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Man, so tell me about when he passed away, how did you find out that he had passed away? Because I listened to your video, your YouTube video that you sent to me, and I just want to get some clarification. You said that when he passed away, David Ruffin's son came to visit you. Okay.
Yes, he hunted me down. It's amazing. This is without any of the resources that are available to us today. You know,
Yeah,
that
no
school,
Google.
none of that existed.
None of
The
that.
internet wasn't even like that back then.
We got to have the phone book, white
Right.
yellow pages.
You're right. That part. But no, I found out he passed on the news. I was at a friend's house, and we were watching, you know, the after school cartoons, and I, I want to say it was like Darkwing Duck or DuckTales or something like that we were watching. And you know, the commercial break came on, and you know, news at 5 coming up, you know, bass singer of the Temptations, you know, Melvin Franklin has died at Cedar Sinai. And it was really surreal, you know, because I didn't quite know how to respond. I like, it wasn't real for a second. Like, wait, did I really just hear what they didn't just, I just heard that in my mind. That really didn't just happen. And but my buddy whose house I was at was one of the few people that I had let in on the secret that this was my father. Because, you know, that type of information, especially in those types of environments, does not travel well. You know,
Yeah.
So, but he was one of the few that I had let in. And so he's looking at me and I'm looking at him. I look at the TV and I'm look back at him, and I can tell by the way he's looking at me that I really did just hear and see what I heard and saw. And I remember getting up and just walking out. I didn't say anything, and I sprinted home, to the group home. I was in Mrs. Green's group home, and I sprinted home, and when I got to the door, I opened up the front door, and it just so happened this was the only time that I can ever remember of the whole time that I was there, and I was at that particular group home maybe about 6 to 8 months. But this was the only time that I could remember when everybody was there at the same time and everybody's in front of the television. Like, all the kids are there, all the staff is there, everybody's in front of the television.
Wow. Listening to this news about your father passing.
Exactly. Like like you would swear it was like skip. Like this was like Hollywood could not have produced any. And I'm sitting here looking like you have to be kidding me. And of course, like all as one, everybody shoot. When I come through the door, everybody's attention shifts to me, and then I'm looking at them, and then I'm looking at the TV, and I'm seeing what's on the TV, and I'm just like, wow. And I go to my room.
Yeah.
And not 2 hours later, I got a phone call for the first time in history. It felt like because I had never no one had ever called asking for me, except my social worker, right?
Yeah.
I got a phone call, and it was David Ruffin Jr.
Wow.
And somehow or another, he hunted me down, and he was like, yo, cuzzo, give me your address. I'll be there to get you. I heard what happened. And, he came. Sure enough, he came through, scooped me up, took me back to his apartment over in the valley, and I stayed with him for the entire week leading up to my father's funeral. So I credit him. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have even made it to the funeral.
Wow. Wow. What was the funeral like? How did you feel being at your father's funeral? Could you process what was happening at that time, but you being so young?
Yeah, being so young, he said it didn't really process at the time. I just remember 2 main items of distinction for me was being offended and being excited. So, right. So these are the 2 distinct memories that I have. So I was offended because when the family was called, I wasn't called up with the family. So that even that young, I really felt offended by that.
Of course.
But then right behind that is a feeling of excitement because I'm looking at the row right in front of me and slightly to the left, and Michael Jackson is sitting right here. And I'm just like, yo, that's Michael Jackson, right?
Wow. Babe, you talked about some show and tell at school, huh?
It's like, yo, no, nobody would ever believe me. Like, because again, I didn't broadcast this information to everybody. People found out through other sources for the most part. Like, very rarely did I volunteer that information. I just, because inevitably it's always followed up by the same question. I found out very young, being in the system.
Yeah.
When someone would find out who my father is, the same question would always follow. Well, what are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly. That's the first question people want to know. Well, what are you
Right.
doing here? And, how did he feel about you being there and that kind of thing?
Right. And I didn't have an answer for that question.
Yeah, you're too young. You didn't know, you couldn't process everything that was going on.
Right. And so I
Yeah.
just found it easier to keep that information to myself.
Oh, wow. Wow. Were you able to meet any of your other siblings at all?
Yeah, so I have a sister, Davette. Uh, she's no, she just moved to Virginia, but she's from Baltimore. And yeah, we have established a very, very close relationship. Um,
Oh,
she actually spent some years in her youth with our father. So she gives me a lot of insight,
great.
and that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, we made initial contact. Well, that I can remember. She remembers me from being younger, but from what I remember, we made distinct contact, uh, like during the funeral services.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, she had been following up with me again, unbeknownst to me. You never know. God always got angels watching over you. You know what I'm saying? And I had no idea that my sister was keeping up with me through all of these years until, I happened to get a letter one day out of nowhere, telling me to call her. Um, but yeah, my sister Davette and I have grown really close over the years.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful story. What did you learn about your father? Like what are some of the things that you learned about him over the years?
Uh, Again, I learned that he's extremely committed to his craft.
Yeah.
Um, he was not just a practitioner, but a master.
Yeah.
And it came through, his dedication and discipline to his purpose. Um, and what I am learning, what I am still in the process of learning, is that therein lies the blueprint to success.
Mm.
Because he's been gone now for over 30 years, and his name still remains. Because of that, you know, I am now afforded the opportunities that I'm being afforded independently,
Mhm.
simply based on the name that he left behind. You know, that only comes with discipline, dedication, determination, and
That is
this is the blueprint that he's left behind.
Yeah, that is some legacy that you get to reap all those wonderful benefits because of his name and because of his perseverance. Tell me about how did it feel? Because he was honored with the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award and an Enthrone Entertainment Honor, and you accepted them both. That must have been something. Tell me about those experiences. How did it make you feel? What was going through your head? How did you um excuse me. Why were you the one they chose to accept this? I think that is such an honor because of everything that you've gone through. I think this is a beautiful thing.
So funny how that worked out. 1 second. Okay, funny how that worked out because neither time was I selected. Both times, I say this unashamedly, both times it was all God.
I was gonna say, you know what?
So
God is so good. He shall not forget his
say that.
suffering, everything that you've gone through with these group homes of being isolated from your father and all of that. Won't he do it? Won't he lift you up?
I'm trying to tell you, I am a walking, breathing example of that. So the first time I was just there in the building, right? Because I had been invited to the event.
And this was for the Enthrone Entertainment Honor?
No, that's the second time. So the first time was at the Grammys.
Okay, so the first time, okay.
Right. So I got the invitation to the Grammy ceremony.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm in the crowd and everyone else is up on stage. And again, through the grace of God, with credit to David Jr., because from the stage, he called me out by name and said, "You better get up here." And that's how I got on stage. The second time, I got news of the event that they were honoring our music director, Mr. Ron Asley. And so I came to the event to support him. And when the award was presented on behalf of the Temps, or to the Temps, Mr. Ron Asley shouts my name out for me to get up and accept the award. And so that's how that happened. So both times were completely unexpected.
Wow. You know, you were slighted at your father's funeral, and now God just kind of made you just known to the world who you are, that you are Melvin Franklin Jr.
Yes, ma'am.
God is
Like you
good.
said, won't he do it?
Won't he do it? I know. Believe me. I'm an example of that as well. Um, how did you escape the group home? How were you released from there? How did you know? Because once you got your taste of freedom, being with David Ruffin, you was ready to be free. How did that happen?
That is the truth of the matter. And
Yeah,
I would say not a year and a half after that, I AWOL'd.
you did.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's too late now, statute of limitations and everything. Right. So I'm good. But yeah, I AWOL'd. I bounced. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'd rather live on the streets than deal with this another day.
Wow.
And and I did that. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole long thing. But yeah, so I AWOL'd and I was on the streets for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And then that led to the next chapter of my life.
Wow. Just kind of segued, and now look at you now. Look at you.
And look at me now.
Look at you now. Oh my goodness.
I don't look like what I've been.
You go right. You don't look like what you've been through.
Right.
Let me ask you this. We're getting close to the end. How were you able to navigate being there spiritually, and what kept you? How were you able to deal with what you dealt with? How did God show up in your life through all of this?
As the scripture says, my strength is made perfect in your weakness.
Oh, I love that one. That's right.
He was right there every step of the way. As the story of the footprints in the sand, right? I did not know that he was carrying me through.
Ooh.
But I was able to look back and see that he carried me through. There is no way that I could be sitting here speaking to you but by the grace of God.